Hi everyone! Today we are going to learn la forme passive in French. This is a very hard lesson, it's difficult. So if you want to listen to it all in French with all the explanations in French, I've recorded this lesson twice, now you know, so you can go there if you are on YouTube and you can watch it all in French. And if you want the explanations, as you can hear here, in English, well, you stay with me. Donc, si vous voulez la traduction en français, pas la traduction, la leçon complète en français, vous cliquez ici et vous aurez la leçon complète en français. Alors, la forme passive, the passive voice, the passive form, this is very difficult. So, before to learn this lesson, you need many things. First of all, what you need is to take a pen and a notebook to write what you need, like what you want to remember. Secondly, you need to know how to conjugate in all the tenses, the main tenses of the active form. That means the normal form. Like you need to know how to conjugate in the present, imparfait, passé composé, futur, futur proche. Voilà, you need to know how to conjugate. Okay, first, before to learn this lesson, otherwise it's going to be too hard for you. And finally, what you need is to know very well the rules of the passé composé, because we are going to compare the passé composé and the passive form, because I don't want you to make a confusion between these two forms, okay? So yeah, why am I doing this lesson? It's because you asked for it. Well, I asked you which of these lessons you wanted first, and you said the passive form. So I really liked to ask you what you wanted, and I think I'm going to keep doing that because it's very nice to know before what is the lesson you really need. So if you want to participate in these polls that I'm going to post, you can subscribe to my channel and activate the bell, because when you activate the bell, you get all the notifications concerning my channel. So this is important. And also you can go directly to the community tab of my channel and check all my message. And yeah, usually, but I will try to ask you once a week. I think it's good, but we'll see. Okay, so I think you are ready to start. Let's go. Okay, so first of all, so this is written in French, but I'm going to explain it in English. I want you to understand why we use the passive form. Yeah, we need to know why. Why are we learning all this? Why is it important? Well, if you're a beginner, this is not so important. Huh? So if you're a beginner, I don't advise you to watch this lesson unless you are very curious about the French language. Okay, so the first reason would be to put into emphasis the result of the action that we are talking about. So not the subject, but the object. We say complément. In English, you say the object, and especially the direct object, because there is no passive form without direct object. We need the direct object because this direct object is going to become the subject of the sentence. And so that's why we are going to emphasize on it, because it's going to be at the beginning and the subject is going to be after or is going to disappear. It's not going to be the subject anymore. Okay, yeah, so it's kind of magic. Yeah, this passive form is like mixing all the words, but we have to follow a very logical strategy. So I'm going to teach you what is this logic. The other reason why we would need the passive form would be that we don't even know the identity of the person who's making the action, who's doing the action. So we don't know what is the subject, and if we don't know the subject, we cannot talk about it. So we put the complement before, and we don't talk about the subject. We talk only about the result of the action. Or last thing, we don't want to talk about the subject, like the person who's making the action. We want to hide it because maybe the action is not very good, so we don't want to tell who did that. So sometimes it's very useful to hide something. And this is interesting to observe that when you listen to the news on TV, well, they use a lot the passive form. That's very useful for the journalist, because in that case, they don't need to say who did the action, who took the decision, who decided to do that, or who even did that, because they don't know it. So very useful for the journalists, but also for you sometimes. So, okay, let's go into more details so that you can really see what is this. But before, how do we go from the active voice, the active form, to the passive form? So the active form is what is the normal sentence, you know already, like sujet, verb, complément. We call it active. You don't need to know all these words, but yeah. So now we are going to transform into the passive form. To do that, we need to modify the form of the verb. So you will see that it's going to change a lot. And yeah. And also, I already told you about that, the position of the subject and the complement, they are going to switch. Like that. Okay. And here is the most famous example of the passive form. So if you study with another teacher, well, the teacher might take this example as well, because it's kind of a tradition for the French teachers to use this example of the cat and the mouse to explain the passive form. This is very cruel for the mouse, yeah, because it's been eaten a lot already, but hey, okay, so I explained to you with this example first, but after we are going, I've chosen more, I don't want to say sophisticated, but I'm going to say it more sophisticated examples with some more vocabulary that maybe is a bit different from this daily life vocabulary. Okay, so this is not the passive form. This is the normal sentence with the subject, a verb, and a direct object. If you don't know what is a direct object, you have to check this lesson first. Yeah, it's important to know that. But in summary, you can ask the question, quoi, what? Le chat mange quoi? La souris. The cat eats what? The mouse. Ok, donc la souris est mangée par le chat. This is the passive form. La souris est mangée par le chat. The mouse is eaten by the cat. So you see, in English and in French, it's very similar in the logic, but of course the words are different. Okay, so what is this verb here? This is the verb manger. Okay, but what's the tense? Yeah, this is a question for you. What is this tense? Are you logical? Aren't you? No, I'm kidding. This is not easy. So this is not the passé composé. No. Why? Because if it was the passé composé, we would use the auxiliary avoir, because as you know, because you've studied the passé composé already, you know that we have a list of verbs, few verbs, that we conjugate with the auxiliary être. And the verb manger is not in this list. So we don't conjugate the verb manger in the passé composé with the auxiliary être. So what is this form? Well, we call it the présent, because this is the présent. And this is the présent passif. Et voilà, présent passif. It's the passive form of the présent. So remember that for the passive form, this is only the auxiliary that is conjugated at the tense. So the auxiliary être, and it's always être, always, is conjugated in the present, and after you add the past participle, which is the same as the past participle of the passé composé. Ok. Donc présent et présent passif. So be careful. Here is the sentence in the passé composé. Le chat a mangé la souris. Le chat a mangé la souris. The cat has eaten the mouse. So you see that the position has changed. So here we have sujet, verbe, objet. And here sujet, verbe, complément d'agent. We call it complément d'agent because it's not the subject anymore. It's a complément, but which complément? Complément d'agent. You don't need to know this word. Okay, so you see, puff, puff, this is across. This comes here, and here we conjugate the auxiliary at the same tense as this one, and we put the past participle. Voilà, you know everything. You know everything about the passive form. But this might be hard for you, so we need some examples to get used to this form and see how it becomes with other tenses than the present. Okay, so first, not first, but before to see the other examples, I want to tell you that the complément d'agent can be omitted. You say that? No. We are not obliged to say or to write the complément d'agent. The complément d'agent is not necessary in the sentence, especially if you don't know the identity of the person who made the action, or you want to hide the identity because the action is bad. For example, here it's a bad action. We don't want to say that it's the cat because we love the cat. We don't want to accuse the cat. So we say, la souris est mangée. By whom? We don't know. Okay, let's see some more accurate examples. So the form of the verb is always auxiliary être and past participle, and this is different from the passé composé because in the passé composé you will have the auxiliary avoir, and you are going to tell me, yes Elsa, but you have some verbs that use être in the passé composé, so how do you make the difference? Well, I'm going to answer you that all these verbs that use the être in the passé composé are not put in the passive form. We don't put them in the passive form. I just made a passive form. Yeah. So we don't put them in the passive form. Okay, so the passive form, la souris est mangée. Donc, very important. On accorde le participe passé avec le sujet. In English, we agree the past participle with the subject. Because we have the auxiliary être, it's the same rule as for the passé composé. When we have the auxiliary être, we have to check the subject. This is feminine singular. We have to agree the past participle. Well, the past participle has to agree with the subject. Okay, donc manger. Okay, very good. Let's have a look at this. This is again the present. Le jardinier prépare le terrain. Le terrain est préparé par le jardinier. The land is being prepared by the gardener. The gardener prepares the land. The land is being prepared, or is prepared by the gardener. Okay, so we see that in the active form, we call it active because the subject make the actions. It is the person who makes the action. Okay, that's why it's active. The gardener is active. But here, the terrain, which is the new subject of the verb, is not active. The land is not making the action. No, the land is passive. And this is the gardener who's making the action. So that's why we call this passive form, because the subject is passive. And here the subject is active. Okay, so here we see that as we put the land at the beginning, donc le terrain, at the beginning of the sentence, we emphasize on the result, we emphasize on this and not on this. So this is interesting. Le terrain est préparé. And par is translated with by. Okay, donc, how do we conjugate? I told you already. We take the verb être and we put it in the present. And we add the past participle. It's going to be a bit more complicated with the passé composé. Same logic. Passé composé. L'agriculteur a récolté le blé. Le blé a été récolté par l'agriculteur. We don't really need it now. So the wheat the wheat was harvested by the farmer, or the farmer here, the farmer has harvested the wheat. The wheat was harvested or has been harvested by the farmer. Okay, so here in French, what you do is you take the auxiliary, you put it in the passé composé. So don't pay attention to this first. You pay attention to the verb être. So you know how to conjugate the verb être in the passé composé. But you should know it, okay, before to watch this lesson. Okay, donc le blé a été. So we conjugate the verb être with the auxiliary avoir, because it's not in the list of the verbs with the auxiliary être. So avoir, être uses avoir. Donc, le blé a été, has been, a été récolté. Voilà. Donc, être au passé composé, participe passé du verbe récolter. We check the subject now because we have the auxiliary être as usual, so we need to check it. Masculin, singulier, so the past participle is at the masculine and singular form. Okay, so we've seen the present, passé composé, now we need to see the imparfait. L'agricultrice, féminine, this is the woman, the farmer woman. Donc, in French, we don't say farmer, because you see that for us, farmer is a bit different. Okay, anyway. L'agricultrice semait les graines. Les graines étaient semées. So, here again, you take the auxiliary être. You put it at the imparfait. And you add the past participle. Clac, clac. Then you check the subject. This is feminine plural, and you put the past participle at the feminine plural form. Do this that way. Okay? So let's continue with the last tense of the past. This is the plus que parfait. Plus que parfait actif. Le fermier avait labouré la terre. The farmer has plowed, I don't know how you pronounce this, plowed, la terre, the soil. On the land, you can say also. La terre avait été labourée. The soil had been ploughed. So it's had been, not has been, because it's the plus que parfait, the pluperfect. Okay, so there again, you take être, you put it at the plus que parfait form. So here we need to put the auxiliary at the imparfait, and after we put the past participle here and here, you see. But here, as it is passive, we put the main verb at the past participle still or again. Être plus que parfait, labourer, participe passé du verbe labourer, check the subject, féminin singulier, labourer. On continue. La fermière fera des conserves. So this is the feminine. Yeah, I wanted, so she's here behind me. Yeah, I wanted to show you just before what's the difference for us between agriculteur and fermier. The agriculteur that we've seen before has a tractor, like has big machines to harvest the lands and to for example, to make some cereals and to make some veggies. So he's working on the land, okay, or she's working on the land. For us, the farmer, le fermier, has a farm and is in a farm and has very often has animals and also land and can also work on the land. So a farmer can be also agriculteur, le fermier can be agriculteur, and the agriculteur can be a farmer, a fermier, but not always, not always. Voilà, donc on continue avec la fermière, the woman. La fermière fera des conserves futures, futur simple, ok, futur simple. Des conserves seront faites. Donc l'auxiliaire être au futur et le participe passé du verbe faire. On regarde le sujet, féminin pluriel, preserves, cans. Féminin pluriel, donc l'auxiliaire au féminin pluriel fait. Et voilà. So now let's see the last tense. This is the futur proche. Futur proche, we have the verb aller in the present and the infinitive form. La jardinière va planter des fleurs. It's the woman, la jardinière. The gardener. Des fleurs vont être plantées by who? By la jardinière, of course, but we don't need to say it. We are interested in this information. Donc, des fleurs vont être plantées, auxiliaire être au futur proche et participe passé. As usual est pluriel, féminin pluriel, clac. Pluriel, féminin pluriel. Ok, voilà, so be careful. If the verb does not have a direct object, you cannot make this passive form. You cannot build this passive form. This passive form works only with a direct object because the direct object is going to become the subject. C'est logique. Voilà, so I hope you understood the lesson. If you have any question, you can ask them in the comments below. You can also, of course, subscribe to my channel to get all my lessons. And I wish you a very, very good day. Je vous souhaite une très, très bonne journée. Et je vous dis à très bientôt pour une nouvelle leçon de français. And watch this lesson and this one maybe that will be interesting for you too. Ciao, ciao!